Hi there, Agile friends. Get ready for the World Tour of Agile at the Agile Online Summit 2023. You can join us from October 24th to 26th for a global showcase of cutting-edge Agile practices and insights. Join us at agileonlinesummit.com. This year, we will be featuring some of the best work done around the world and world-class keynotes. You can check all of that at agileonlinesummit.com. But the best part is that your ticket is on us. That's right, it's free to attend and immerse yourself in the world of Agile excellence. Don't miss out on this opportunity to level up your skills and network with peers and industry experts. Mark your calendars and secure your spot at AOS 23 today by visiting agileonlinesummit.com. So get your free ticket or opt for the full digital pass that lets you keep all the conference videos forever and organize, why not, Agile learning sessions at work. You can get the full digital access at agileonlinesummit.com. I'll see you in the conference floor. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week joining us from the US is Lorraine Chambers. Hey, Lorraine, welcome to the show.
Hi, Vasco. It's so great to be here. Thank you so much.
It's absolutely a pleasure to have you here as well, Lorraine. Lorraine's vision of excellence is summed up in the words of philosopher Lao Tzu: a leader is best when people barely know he exists. She's held several roles in the fintech industry, including product owner and quality assurance. She's a native New Yorker that loves to travel, music, and museums. Lorraine, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Yes, thanks, Vasco. So like I mentioned, I'm based in New York, had several roles, and currently really enjoy the Scrum Master role. How I became a Scrum Master is an interesting story. So around 2015, I was struggling in the product manager role, and I was very unhappy, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was in a waterfall environment. And I saw that there were a lot of pain points, namely lack of communication and transparency, especially between the product side and the development side. So I happened to stumble across Agile and Scrum and thought that if this is something that we could implement on our team, it would be beneficial. And I mentioned this way of working to my manager at the time, and they weren't really convinced. So long story short, I wound up leaving that company and worked elsewhere. And at this new company, I was a business analyst on an Agile team. So I got the chance to see the way that Agile worked, real firsthand experience. And then while I was there, I got the Certified Scrum Master certification as a prerequisite to get the Certified Scrum Product Owner certification, because my original intention was to go back to the product manager, product owner role. And then I wound up getting another role as a quality assurance analyst. So I was testing the software, which made me a developer on a Scrum team. This particular team, they did not have a dedicated Scrum Master. So I took it upon myself and I volunteered to facilitate some of the retrospectives and backlog refinements, and I really enjoyed that. Then in 2019, the company I worked for started to post Scrum Master positions, like dedicated Scrum Master positions. And I applied, and I've been working as a Scrum Master ever since and have not looked back.
Yeah, absolutely. And so often it happens that we end up in this role by chance, but then we find that actually it wasn't really by chance once you look at it in hindsight. Lorraine, of course, this ending up on the Scrum Master role is just the beginning of our journey. And every journey has some tough, difficult moments that we can learn a lot from. And today's Monday, so we'll dive into one of those moments with you, Lorraine. So tell us the story, introduce the context a little bit, but then walk us through the steps, how that happening, how that event unfolded in time. And we'll dive into the details and insights later, but tell us that story first.
Yes, so early in my Scrum Master career with one of my newer teams, there was a real issue with communication and
Can
really
you tell us a little bit more about what that issue looked like when you were looking at it at that time? What was happening?
Yes. So it was more about communicating through disagreement. So what was happening is there was, one person on the team, let's call this person A, they would reach out to person B, and person B would be maybe very dismissive, not responsive. Person A, we were all new to the team. So person A had some questions, maybe wanted some feedback from this more senior person B, and the responses seemed to be a little disrespectful and condescending. Where I failed is in the beginning, I thought that maybe this would kind of work itself out. I'm like, we're adults, and you know, as we get to know each other and work together more, things would work itself out. But it did not happen that way. Things were really starting to come to a head. So I got the help of the Agile coach at the time, and we did a couple of sessions with the team around communication. We talked about what is the best way to communicate and what are our communication styles. Like, some people are okay with interruptions. Maybe some people need something more like office hours, like a set time where, they could pause from their work and work with the team and answer questions. And this is, outside of the daily scrum. So we did that. And I thought that things were getting a little better, but they really, really weren't. And they progressively got a little worse. So, and this is through my observation, I'm seeing this and I'm being told this as well. So I really had to pivot and take a new stance as a Scrum Master, take a different coaching stance. So I had to do more of a change catalyst stance, coaching stance and almost have an intervention with these people. So I created a workshop on how to communicate through disagreements. We watched several videos together, and we had a lot of just discussions and role playing. So, if person A says this, what is a good way or a respectable way to respond? And those sessions were really good because even things like replacing the word but with and, those little minor things kind of help, ease tensions. We talked about active listening. So listening, not to respond, but, to understand. Body language is very important as well. We have our cameras on in our in this remote world. So, if your arms are crossed or you're rolling your eyes, things like that, beware of things like that. And we came up with a working agreement between these two. And it never improved 100%, but it did get a lot better. So I think the learning lesson for me early in my career, which I'm grateful for, is to, when you see these anti-patterns, call them out early, be observant, call them out early. Of course, I want to give the team the tools that they need to work out these problems themselves or these challenges themselves, but, be there to help them along the way. And, if I need to get involved or, escalate things a little bit, do that quickly so it doesn't affect other teams members.
I really like this story. And I also like the practical way in which you and your colleague Agile coach went about it, right? Like give the team the tools that they need in order to communicate through disagreements. And unfortunately, the reality is that we don't all jive together. Sometimes the chemistry just doesn't work and people kind of react almost like an allergic reaction to each other. It's not even through evilness or any kind of second intention. It's just that the methods, the approaches to communicating just don't work, right? And that's okay. Right. But then we need to take action. And I really like the role playing sessions. I think those can be very useful because we learn through practice, right? We don't learn only through theory. We need to practice these things. And I really like the fact that you discussed a working agreement, in this case, a communication agreement between
right.
these two people. I think those were like great examples how we can take very practical action to help two team members that for some reason or another, they just weren't working well together.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Lorraine.
You're welcome, Basta.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests help their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.